So we are just under 1 month out from the release of College Football 25, and to pass the time, I just wanted to make a list of 10 players that I'm super excited to play with, possibly build a dynasty around, or even hop into regs online and just dominate there. So once again, this is like no particular order. These are just guys that I've kind of been hearing the names of. So I really just wanted to kind of build or make a video, put it out there for you guys to kind of talk about, start some discourse before we actually start getting this gameplay news here in the next couple weeks or so. So the first guy that I wanted to touch on is Nick Harper. Pause. That was kind of crazy, but he played wide receiver, or excuse me, he played tight end and defensive end in high school, and then came in and played wide receiver for his freshman season at South Carolina. This guy's speed is absolutely absurd. He ran a 20-20 200 meter, and he also ran a 10-11 100 meter. Just to put this time into perspective, the Olympic qualifying time is 10.05. So this guy is moving, and also not to mention he is 6'5", 240 pounds. He could legitimately be a future Olympian if he didn't want to play football, but I'm sure there's a lot more money in football, so that's probably why his mind is there. But yeah, he's pretty much a Calvin Johnson, like Megatron, DK Metcalf clone. It really makes no sense. Nobody that big should be moving that fast. In South Carolina also, they've kind of like fell from grace in recent years. So this could be a cool team to rebuild because this guy, Harper, he is not really like a high overall player or anything. So it's not like he's going to be a monster off the rip if you want to do Dynasty. So it could be a cool starting point to kind of build from and go from there. But yeah, Harper, man, I would be on the lookout for him in real life. We just saw Leggett, who was kind of in the same type of vein as this guy. Maybe be a AJ Brown or DK Metcalf type guy. So yeah, Nick Harper. And then next on the list here, I have Austin Ball. So as you can see, he's a real blue collar guy. He's sneaky athletic. He's the type of guy you would want to marry your daughter. He truly plays the game the right way. He just gets into those holes in the zone. He's really just the quarterback's best friend. But all jokes aside, he truly did clock a 23.03 on the GPS. So that's the fastest in Boise State program history. So this guy can really move. I mean, his last name is Ball. So no relation to Usain Bolt, obviously. He's Caucasian. Usain is Jamaican. But the guy is moving. He was made to run, literally. So he was a track and field star when he was in high school. Hasn't really had a super promising college career thus far. But taking him over to the virtual gridiron, I think we can do some things with them. And then, you know, he goes to Boise State. So I don't know about you guys, but growing up, Boise State was one of those teams that I always wanted to make a team with, or at least play in their stadium. That blue field is just awesome. So yeah, man, Austin Ball is gonna be a monster. And then next up on the list, we have former Toledo quarterback Decoin Finn. He is headed to Baylor for this upcoming season. Went ahead and transferred there. Had a pretty solid career at Toledo. Got a bunch of starts in. So it'll be probably super cool to see him in kind of a better offense going to Baylor, down in Texas, going down to Waco. But yeah, I think quarterback, having a fast quarterback in video games has always been pretty overpowered. It makes it so your offense is just so much more wide open. So not only do they have to worry about you throwing the ball down the field, but it just opens the field up a lot more, especially with the RPO talk and then how good options are supposed to be this year. I think a guy like Finn could really be good. He clocked a 21.9 miles per hour on the GPS. So it is safe to say he is extremely fast. I think that 21.9 was the fastest time by any quarterback all of last season. So he can make some plays on his feet as well as with his arm. So Finn is a guy who I'm looking forward to possibly using in a rebuild or even like running around with online. And then these next two guys here are kind of, if you want to be more compy online, because at the end of the day, who wants to do a UGA rebuild? They're one of the blue blood college football teams, and they're pretty much good year in and year out. So using a guy like this, along with the starters, the big names who you already know at UGA, could be fun. But this guy, speed is stupid. Ran a 10-10 100 meter, so he lacks hands, so he'll probably be a super low overall. But him in the kick return or punt return game, or maybe you're trying to steal him away from UGA, he could be an absolute monster because that type of speed is just crazy. He's more focused on the track side of things, but we don't care about that in college football 25. This is Like, we're trying to be good online. We want one play touchdown. We're trying to bomb it over the top and take a lot of those kick returns and punt returns to the crib. And then this next guy who I have up, his name is Anthony Evans. As you can see, he is also a wide receiver at Georgia. He lacks hands, but what he does have is speed. That's the whole point of this video. The guy ran a 10-10 100-meter dash. So he lacks hands, so it'll be a super low overall. So maybe this could be one of those guys who you try to target in the transfer portal after they maybe want to transfer away from UGA, because, you know, they're getting those top guys year in and year out. Maybe he's not getting enough playing time in Georgia. It might be tough to get a guy who's, you know, used to the Magic City chicken wings. I know Athens not down the street from Georgia, but it's close enough, man. And then I know they probably got the Hellcat NIL deals and stuff like that at Georgia. So it could be tough to maybe get him away from Georgia. But nonetheless, this guy could run. So UGA, you know, they're going to have the very high top end starters. But now, you know, they got the burner guys, the speedster guys just sitting on the bench. So this is kind of a 2-for-1. We have Arian Smith as well as Anthony Evans, both receivers for Georgia. And then this next guy, Barian Brown. The last two guys are fast, but Barian Brown might just be faster. He hit a 22.6 on the GPS last season. So I believe that was the fastest time in all of college football. It said that he's even clocked a 23 while in practice. He also goes to one of those lesser schools in Kentucky. And you don't have to kind of grind up to get him to a better conference because you're already in that top conference. So that could be cool. They also have some pretty cool uniforms. So this could be a nice one that maybe starts your dynasty and build around. Maybe you go and you try to recruit Anthony and Arian both from UGA, and then you got the fastest receiving core in all of college football. But this guy here, Barian Brown, could ultimately end up probably being the fastest guy in the entire game. If he's anything less than like 98, maybe even, honestly, if he's less than 99 speed, I say we revolt, for real. So Barian Brown out of Kentucky. So this guy, Brandon Buckhalter, he also clocked a 22.6 mile per hour on the GPS last season. In a kind of similar vein, probably a little bit more so than Barian Brown. He goes to one of those non-blue blood schools, so it could be super fun to maybe develop a storyline around UAB. But this guy Buckhalter, he originally went to Ole Miss before transferring over to UAB, as you saw before. He is a Mississippi hometown guy, so went Ole Miss and then ultimately transferred over to UAB. I couldn't really find much of his 2023 film, but I did read online that he took a 75-yard touchdown to the house. But we know that he clocked a 22.6. This guy was moving, but he did ultimately end up with only 100 yards on the season. So basically all his yards came on that one catch. But yeah, the guy, he's going to run. This could be a fun guy to build around at UAB. UAB might just have the best storyline in all of college football, because I remember when that program originally got shut down. But Brandon Buckhalter could be a monster, and I look forward to playing with him in the new game. So Cappa Gankin. Capina, I don't know. I probably butchered that name, but it's a Washington State DB. We know about the Pac-12 and their Polynesian / Pacific Islander type guys. He was basically built to be an uberly athletic DB that plays on the West Coast. So he clocked at 22.4 miles per hour on the GPS last season, which I think is the fastest for all defenders in all of D1. And then he also took a pick 88 yards to the crib. So Capina, he's going to be a monster. I'm probably butchering that name, but I can see myself maybe hopping in and using Washington State, using them. They have a pretty solid offense. So I don't even know what conference they're going to be in this season. But Gankin, I think he'll be cool. You can maybe move him down to linebacker and kind of go about it that way. Or maybe keep him at DB. But yeah, this guy, he'll be fun. I wanted to kind of use this. I know with the switch stick and everything too, defense is going to be that much more fun. So he could be one of those guys you really just fly around with and make a lot of plays. This next one is another 2-for-1. So we have Dingle. He's a DB / linebacker. Some places it says he's a DB, some places it says he's a linebacker. So in my mind, that kind of means he's that tweener position. He could be your nickel back. He could be that linebacker in for dime. Maybe he'd be your sub linebacker. So he's one of those kind of like hybrid type guys. So he's another two-sport athlete. So he also runs track. He competes in the hurdle. So he ran a 7.85 in the 60 meter. So this guy has a lot of speed. He's also kind of able to move. So that's the type of thing you want to see from your linebackers slash DBs. So able to jump, able to move, really like just super athletic. But Dingle, he's going to be another 2-for-1 because, like I said before, we have his teammate now, Justin Horn, who's kind of in a similar vein. He also runs the hurdle, the 60-meter hurdle. He clocked a 7.93 in the 60-meter, and then a 13.85 in the 100-meter. So he's a freshman. So this could be a fun team to build around. Maybe you put both of these guys in at linebacker, switch sticking back and forth between these two on the field. I feel like you'll be able to cover a lot of ground. So I could see them easily being mid, or I got probably low to mid 90s speed at the linebacker position. I don't know what more you can ask for. I'm really excited to see whether or not linebackers truly jump next year. So that'll be something to watch out for that we haven't really heard about. But yeah, that's going to do it from my list. I threw in 3 defensive players. Overall, I think that was 10 guys total. So that's going to do it for the list. And once again, there is so many players in college football. It's literally impossible to keep up with all of them. So I want to do majority unknown guys. Leave a comment for your favorite guy that you think I missed when it comes to the speed. So I can see myself maybe doing another one of these. Maybe I do like route running or strongest arms or something like that. But overall, if you watched this far in the video, big thank you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next one.